already uses Instagram for a business? Okay, great. So that number of hands raises every time we give a workshop or a talk on this, because people are realising that the audience is there. So there was a myth for a long time.
I want to.
You?
I want to.
You want to. Well, that's the next step. Admitting it is the first step, so all you need to do then is push the buttons. So there was a myth for a long time that it was just for kids, that it was just for young people, it's just for teenagers, okay? There was another myth that it was just for foodies or beautiful models who are into fitness. And the aesthetic of the platform was like that for a long time, and the demographic of the user was like that in the beginning. Because it's like that on every social media when it starts. They're always the early adopters. Kids are not afraid of it. They don't think they're going to break it. They don't think they're not as afraid of embarrassing themselves as we are. So they're always the first ones to try out a platform. But when Facebook started, everybody said that was for kids. And now everybody, even your great granny's on there, okay? So Instagram, eventually, everybody migrated over there as well. So on your profile, I'm just going to run through the things that you could do straight away, okay? So in your profile, how many of you have switched on the business setting? Okay, the business setting is just a little switch in the settings of your account. If you don't like it, you can switch back again. It's not a huge deal, but it will show you how many people are seeing your posts. And that is a really important metric to measure, because no matter what you're doing on Instagram, if people aren't seeing it, it's a bit pointless, okay? So your name is important. Your username should be as consistent as you can across various social media, your website, your brand, anything you put your logo on. Try not to have different versions of the same name. It should be fairly consistent. You can change your Instagram username. So if you rebranded, or if you thought of a more clever one that was consistent across, you can change that username. Your website should be the home page, or if you have something very specific that you want to drive people over to. You'll often see in people's Instagram posts a link in bio, and what they mean is that's the only link you can put in. So what they mean is if you visit the link in my bio, it's bringing you straight to that offer or that competition or that thing I'm talking about. There are some tools then, there's one called Linktree, where you can have several links on one page. So the link that you're putting in here would bring them to your Linktree, which would have, you know, my upcoming workshops, my competition, my talks, all that kind of stuff. So in your bio, you want to keep it really simple. Nobody cares that much about you as you do about yourself, okay? So everybody overthinks this stuff. What exactly should it be? They'll go and read a 300-word blog post and watch a video and subscribe to somebody's tips on what should be in your bio. Who's reading your bio, okay? The reason you have to have certain things in your bio is because you may be found through search that way. So if you fill out your bio and include some hashtags, include some keywords, when people are searching for those words and go to people, you'll come up. So it is important to fill it out right, but don't overthink it, and don't try and have the wittiest bio on the internet that nobody reads. The category then that you're in when you've changed it to business settings, obviously that's important, because likewise if somebody is searching out a particular type of business. So filling out your profile is important. If it's a company Instagram and there's going to be several people on it and there's nobody who's actually the face of the brand, use the logo. I have a logo, but there's only me and my business, and more people know me than know the Breffni digital name. So I have my face as my profile picture. There are some things that people don't realise are on Instagram. So what I keep hearing back is it's for pictures and video. It is for pictures and video, but it's not just pictures and video the same as you put on Facebook. There are lots and lots of complex things on the Instagram platform that as they build it out, they're trying to compete with everything else. So by they, I mean Facebook. Facebook owns Instagram, okay? So I presume everybody has a Facebook presence for their business. It's just a given at this stage. Everybody in the room would have a Facebook page. If you're spending on Facebook ads, those ads can display on Instagram. They're not two competing social media. They're the same company. So as you spend money on one, as you spend time on one, they benefit from the fact that you're using both of their products, okay? Plus Messenger, plus WhatsApp. I mean, they've taken over a huge chunk of what we do on social media. So rather than it be, are you on Facebook or Twitter? Are you on LinkedIn or Facebook? Facebook and Instagram very much go hand in hand. The stories feature is something that they absolutely copied from Snapchat. There's no denying it. They don't deny it. They made Snapchat a disgusting offer of billions of dollars. They turned it down, so they said, that's fine, we've got the same thing ourselves anyway. So when stories came out first, people were like, oh, do I watch it on Snapchat or Instagram? Do I publish to both? Do I need different content for both? How do I manage this? And my prediction at the time was, one day everybody will be on Instagram stories and nobody will bother with Snapchat stories, and we're here now. Nobody is bothered with Snapchat stories. So Instagram, because of the beast that Facebook is, when they roll out features like this, they take over. Right? And even if people are reluctant at the beginning, oh, I don't need to watch stories, or oh, I won't use that, eventually the users all shift their behavior. And if the users shift behavior and attention, we need to shift our content to where they're looking, okay? So there's direct messaging, which is the paper airplane icon in the top right corner. And I find direct messaging on Instagram a really great way to converse with people, because they feel like they're speaking to me one-to-one. They are speaking to me one-to-one. But even as a brand and a company with several people on a team, they feel like they're speaking to a person. So people miss that, right? In terms of customer service, when they're making an inquiry, it could be anything from, does this come in blue, to a really complicated question. But they want to speak to a person, but they don't actually want to speak to a person, right? So, you know the Just Eat app? We don't even want to speak to the guy in the takeaway anymore. We just want to press the buttons, the pizza will appear at the door, okay? If there was a way that he could just drop it and run away, we'd probably like that too. We just want to push buttons, get the answers, but we don't actually want to use our voice very much. It's a 24-hour situation, okay? It could be 11:30 at night, I'm on the couch, a glass of wine, and I just want to know, are you getting this back in stock? So I just want to press some buttons. I don't want this to become an ordeal. And Instagram messaging is a really effective way of conversing one-to-one with customers. When somebody comments on your Instagram stories, it comes into you as a message. And this is where it's very different to before, where comments were so important. How many comments are on our posts on Facebook? Do we look like we're really popular? How many likes are we getting? How many comments are we getting? And all those metrics are visible to the public and your competitors. Whereas now, you could have tons of comments on your stories, but your competitor can't see because they're coming into you as private messages. So I think that's a good thing, because it's back to what is the valuable metrics, which is how many conversations are we starting and how many of those are converting into sales. Whereas before it was just vanity. It was, oh, we're up 10% more likes than the other guy. So did it turn into sales? Nobody knew what was turning into actual money for people. So direct messages are really important. They are well filtered for spam, but you will still get the occasional get rich quick scheme, you know, nudie ladies, whatever floats your boat will come in to the inbox and you just delete it. It's the internet, it will happen. You can send images, videos or text in those messages. That's another thing people don't realise, is that it's not just typing back your answers. You can actually take a photo of a product and say, yes, or no, that's not coming back in stock, but you may like this one, okay? That could be an image that you have on file, it could be one that you take. You can take a video, so if somebody asked you for a demo of something, and you can say, yeah, sure, here it is in action. Whatever your product or service is, whether it's you speaking to them, showing them a product, doing a little 360 tour of something, that takes seconds with a mobile phone and send, and that could be what converts them, okay? It's an effective way to reach out if you want to collaborate with somebody who has a bigger audience than you. Now, I'm reluctant to use the word influencer because that whole industry has just become such a laughing stock. where people are calling themselves influencers, influencer marketing, and it's all a bubble that's just going to burst. There are really authentic people though who deliver value to their audience and will team up with you in a paid partnership where they advertise your product or give you a shout out to their followers. Once it's an authentic relationship and you declare everything if there's money changing hands, sending messages to those people can be an effective way to reach out. Now, an influencer could just be somebody who is really popular in your village neighbourhood. Do you know the way every neighbourhood has a character? Somebody who's just on loads of committees or just has a great personality and therefore has loads of friends online or has followers and is not necessarily in the market for paid partnerships. But if you said, look, we have this thing coming up, we'd appreciate if you'd share it, and they share it, that could be more valuable to you than a load of paid media advertising because it's authentic. So it can be a really effective way to reach out. And all of that is just what a lot of people ignore as, I don't know what that button does, or yeah, that's just where I send messages but I have nothing to say. The other thing is your notifications on Instagram. So the little heart just here, and obviously it's where Instagram notifies you that someone has followed you or liked your picture, the usual notifications we get. What a lot of people don't know is that by default it's in the column at the top, you, so your notifications. Beside that, if you tap on following, accounts that you're following on Instagram, it will tell you what they're up to. Okay? So if you're following 3 or 4 people who are at the top of their game and you think, I would just love if they used our product or gave us a shout out or even did a paid campaign with us, and you want to know how do we figure out what interests them, what they're up to. If you go in there, it will show you the photos they've liked. It will show you the comments they've left. It will show you what they're up to. Likewise with your customers. Follow your customers or your potential ideal customer and go and see what kind of pictures are they liking. So if your content is not really engaging them, have a look and see what is it? Is it funny memes that gets them going? Is it a particular layout of photo? Is it quotes on sunsets? What is it that they are actually hitting the like button for? So that's an interesting way to go after the right people with the right content. So the algorithm is a mind-boggling word to a lot of people. It's like a secret sauce. 10 minutes gone or 10 minutes left? Okay, thanks. It's made up of thousands of factors that none of us in the room will ever have the definitive list of. And even if I could give it to you what today's is, it'll be different tomorrow, okay? But it artificially, intelligently puts the content in front of people to keep them addicted to their social media feeds and stories, right? Now, you could watch somebody on Instagram that you absolutely hate. Hate their content, hate the sight of them, hate the mention of their name. But you're watching them. And that's what you fed the machine was, show me her again. Show me her again with her perfect house and her perfect skin. Whatever it is that's making your eyeballs stay on her story is what's going to be put in front of you again. So there's a misconception that it's, everybody gets fed what they love. They don't. They get fed the opposite of their politics, the opposite of their beliefs, the opposite, so that they will go, well, and straight into the comment section with, I'm going to completely change your mind on this one. The more you show the machine that you have an interest in something, the more it will show you the opposite to get you to engage, okay? So there's no harm in being a bit controversial. There's no harm in saying, okay, we're going to get more eyeballs on our stuff. We're going to get talked about. We're going to get shared in group conversations. We're going to get more attention by stirring up a conversation. Once you can back it up, okay? So don't pick fights on the internet for the sake of it and then walk away. But certainly don't play too safe with your content because it just disappears. It doesn't interest people, okay? And you have to focus on the relationships that you're building. So if somebody that I'm connected with on Instagram likes a particular type of content and engages with it, and I have never seen it before, Instagram will suggest it to me. It will come up as a, you probably like this as well then, okay? And whether that content producer paid to put it there or organically, that puts them up higher in the ranking, that the friends of people who are already engaged users are more likely to like it. And it's true. It's the sort of stuff that my friend would say to me over a coffee, oh my God, this guy's so funny, you'd love him, and we'll share his handle with me or something. It's exactly what we do in real life anyway, is we share products, services, people to follow with each other. Growing followers is a challenge for everybody, okay? The number one thing to take away from this slide is do not buy dodgy followers. You will get things on Instagram saying, we'll have 5,000 followers for $20. Has anybody seen how that's done? You pay your $20, take a room this size and shelve it off, floor to ceiling, and just have phones lining those shelves the whole way around the room. And somebody, usually in like Eastern countries, takes your $20 and all of those phones hit the like button on your page. Job done. But all of those accounts on those phones are fake, right? They're absolutely no use to your business. In fact, they're going to damage your business. Because when Instagram does a sweep of their platform and shuts fake accounts down, your follower number goes and drops overnight. And your real followers see that, screenshot it, and are only delighted to share that with the rest of the internet. Oh my God, look what she did. So don't buy dodgy followers. It's painful growing one follower at a time, but if they're real people, I know you're looking at your follower number and you're thinking, oh my God, it's not even 1,000, and then it hits 1,000 and then it goes back down again. But if they're real people and you put more effort into your content and your engagement, conversations with people, leaving comments on other people's content, why are you sitting expecting everybody to follow you, like your stuff, comment on your stuff, click through to your website? What are you doing on this platform? It's social media. So you need to get involved in the conversations that are happening, okay? So you can seek out in the search box who your ideal people are, especially if you have a business that requires local customers. By putting in place in the search box, when you search something on Instagram, it will say the top results, the recent results, people, and places, and tags. If you say places, so if you were to put in Citywest or even Dublin and say places, you will find accounts and posts that have been tagged in those locations. And there's a bit of legwork in this. You have to actually go through this on your phone yourself. I'm not going to tell you any dodgy bots that do it quickly. You need to do this because when you're paying attention to that, you will value your time and say, okay, I'm putting time into this. I need to get something back from this, okay? So you will find interesting people to follow. The number one question I get at this stage usually is, do people not find that creepy if a business follows them? No. Because even your Joe So walking around who doesn't have a business and is just on Instagram to take pictures of his dinner wants followers, right? So when he's followed by a local business, he doesn't go, oh my God, how did you find me? He's on a public platform showing off and wants followers. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with following your potential customers. Actively engage, like other people's stuff, comment on their stuff, for real. We've all got the comments from the bots as well who say, great shot. But if you look, they've said great shot on 3,000 pictures in the last 3 minutes. The worst example of that I've seen is where somebody took a picture of a floral wreath at their grandmother's funeral and said, can't believe we're saying goodbye to grandma today, da da da. Great shot. So when you leave an authentic comment, it won't sound like a bot because you're not going to say, great shot. You're going to say whatever you say in your normal language. And it's going to look real and people will appreciate that. And now you've started an engagement trail. So search by location. If you know somebody or just chance your arm and ask somebody who does have a big audience to give you a shout out, whether that's sending them your product, whether it's just asking them, Sometimes you have to give up product or service for free, sometimes you even have to do that plus a fee. That depends on whether you feel it's worth it or not. Leverage all your other channels. So use your own Facebook page, email list, people walking in and out of your store, whatever that is in your business, and ask them to follow you on Instagram. So sitting looking at your phone going, I should move followers, doesn't do it. You have to ask, and ask everywhere, okay? Competitions and giveaways can be a good way of growing followers, but again, I've seen people make the mistake of saying, okay, here's the prize, and to win this, you have to follow us on Instagram, like 3 of our pictures, tag 3 of your friends, tell us what you have for breakfast, stand on your head. It's ridiculous giving people a list of instructions. They just go, oh, I can't be bothered, scroll on. Okay? So just one simple call to action, which is to follow you. Okay?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to ask to like and share on Instagram?
Well, for a start, there's no simple way to share like there is on Facebook. Yeah. So Facebook frowns on engagement baiting, where you say you have to do this. They don't police it very well. It is in their terms of service that you shouldn't do that. I've seen one business's page shut down. Facebook said it was because of that, but we think that the competitor reported them, because otherwise it's never flagged on Facebook. So you can ask on Instagram, they're a bit looser on there. You can say, but what is it for? It's just so that you feel better at night saying, yes, I got 50 likes on that picture. You want real likes, you don't want...
No, but I'm just thinking of for a competition or something.
Yeah. I think the best thing to do is to say on other platforms, follow us on Instagram, we're going to pick one lucky follower. While they're there, they like pictures anyway. Okay? So, hashtags. Does everybody understand what a hashtag is? It's just a way of labeling content, so that if somebody is searching for it, clicks on that hashtag, it brings up all the posts from anybody who has used that same hashtag. And you can use up to 30. Now I would say on a post on Instagram, 30 looks like clutter, okay? So the caption on your post, especially on a platform that we associate with being beautiful and nice, 30 hashtags can look really cluttered. So you could put them in the first comment, and that has the same effect. Or just be picky about which ones you use. You don't need 30. If there's a set of hashtags that you use over and over again, make a little note on your phone and just copy and paste them, rather than the risk of misspelling them or driving yourself crazy trying to remember them and type them all out. Quality brings quality, okay? So crap hashtags bring crap followers, is what I mean. So you'll see ones that are like follow for follow, or you know, these things, they'll bring you followers, but they're just other desperate people looking for followers. And you're all just feeding off each other's pity. You're not actually selling each other anything. Think like a customer and not like your point of view. So somebody would say in the wedding industry, instead of getting into, say it's a wedding dress, instead of getting into what the fabric is and what the embellishments are made of and who the designer is and what style it is and all of that, that's how you're seeing your product. But a bride is not searching for that type of zip or that type of bead. They're searching for inspiration, okay? So have a look at what the customers are using in terms of wedding trends, bride-to-be, stuff that they're using, okay? Content needs to be square for the feed. Taking a picture and expecting it to perform on every platform equally doesn't work. Square for Instagram is best. They will let you use a landscape wider, you know, a rectangle wider than a square. But it looks best if it's square, because that's how it's going to come up on my phone. Vertical for stories and for IGTV. Except last week they changed the goalposts and said they're going to allow landscape videos on IGTV. So, yeah.
I hate vertical, nothing personal, but like,
Yeah.
then you see like empty spaces on the sides.
So their thinking was, this is how we use our phone most of the time, and that if somebody needs to do this, that can be what makes them go so fast. And it can. We're that lazy, right? But I was with Facebook and Instagram for 2 days in January, and they were absolutely shoving Instagram TV down our necks. And the whole presentation was on, this is the future. But all the screens in the room for the presentation were this way. I was like, well, unless we're all going to start flipping our TVs this way, it is for mobile friendly. And IGTV obviously is a mobile platform. But they've had to back down now and say that you can publish this way. The stories will stay this way. Now, if you have a photograph that's taken this way, and you want to put it in your stories, it's only going to fill up some of the screen. That's the problem, is if I'm looking at my phone this way, your picture is only coming up here. So I've already lost about 2/3 of the space that you could have filled my eyes with, okay? Whereas if you create for this way, number one, I'm less likely to just scroll past, because you're not making me do that huge effort there. And the other thing is that I will consume it better because it's filling my screen, okay? People in photos, I cannot stress this enough. Human beings are the biggest asset to your social media. Have photos of gorgeous models laughing into their salad doesn't really do it for me, okay? There's a whole website about women laughing at their salads.
Yes.
Even though we usually cry into them, like, oh, I wish it was cake. But anyway, people in your photos will have so much more of an impact than the same thing without people, okay? And then video is so much more impactful than photos. And that is why all of us who work in this will always tell you, you have to talk to your camera at some stage. You have to be brave enough to put yourself in front of the camera and make a video of yourself. And it's back to the thing I said earlier about nobody cares about you as much as you do. So if they don't like it, they'll scroll past. You're not actually going to attract loads of people who hate you. They'll watch it or they'll scroll past. They'll consume you every day, they'll not really think about you very much. That's it. So don't overthink how you look, how you sound, all of that. Just embrace it. Nearly out of time. But stories are where 80% of the time being spent on Instagram. And there's a lot of time being spent on Instagram. 80% of it's being spent on stories. So if you're stuck for stuff to put on Instagram, don't obsess about the feed, because most people who open that Instagram app now are watching stories, closing it again. Back in a half an hour, watching stories, closing it again. They're doing that several times a day, and they're not necessarily scrolling through their feed very much anymore. They only last for 24 hours, so if it's not epic content when you begin, don't worry about it, because it's gone tomorrow. To watch them, you tap on somebody's profile picture, so if you're not familiar with how they look, watch other people's and get a feel for what people are doing on there. There is a live feature, so you can do a live video if you're brave enough. But remember, do it this way, not this way. If you tap the right-hand side of stories, you move on to the next one, the next slide within that story. Now, when you switch that to business settings and you have all these insights, you will see how many people are tapping through your stories. And it's a bit like Eric's points earlier about punctuating what you're trying to say to people. If you're droning on, people are tapping through because they can't even make it through 15-second segments of what you're saying without, come on, get the point, get the point. And that's the way your behaviour is gone. That thumb is tap, tap, tapping, get to the point. So get to the point. If I see loads and loads of slides in somebody's story, I'm thinking, there better be something good in here, because I'm not giving you that much of my time. And that's how your user, your viewer has gone. And that could be your best friend, it could be your family, it could be your own partner going, oh God, 20 slides, I won't make it to the end of this. Okay? Yeah. So, it depends on what's going on in the stories. If there's something interesting in the first one, I won't be as put off. But if what I see is, hi guys, that's the first slide. And then the second one, it's I just thought I'd pop on. You're already here, get to see something. You're telling me that you've decided to come on Instagram stories. On Instagram story. I know, I can see you're here. So if there's something interesting, if there's movement, if there's a bit of animation in your face, or whatever's going on in the background, I won't mind. But once it becomes little perforated dots and you're boring me, gone, not watching it. So keep it as short as is interesting. Does that make sense? It's not a number, it just depends what's going on. You can save these for more than 24 hours in things called highlights, but that better be something worth watching and not just for your own, I made that content, I don't want it to disappear. You can save it to your camera roll, it doesn't have to be a highlight. And the other thing about the stories is not only do you see how many people watched, but you see who watched. You can see their usernames. Now take that back to the messaging and who to reach out to and who to say, start conversations with, who to follow, who to go and comment on their pictures and watch their stories. If you see somebody who's repeatedly showing up and you don't know them, they're not a customer yet, then go and watch their stuff, start that